So Canada's immigration landscape has significantly changed since 2024 and continuing to this year. Some of these changes include policy adjustments targeting international students, revised work permit and temporary resident programs, reductions in permanent residency targets, and enhanced provincial oversight and sector prioritization for international students. The IRCC has implemented a 35% reduction in approved study permits to reduce the total annual number of permits to 437,000 for 2025 and 2026. For started last year in 2024, international students must also obtain an additional authorization letter from the province of study. For work hours for students, it has also been reduced now to 24 hours per week starting last year, and down from the previous 40 hours per week. There's full-time work is still permitted during academic breaks. For postgraduate work permits, there is now a requirement to have a language proficiency score of level 7 for English and NCLC level 7 for French. College graduates require CLB level 5 though. Priority is given to fields like healthcare, STEM, early childhood education, and agriculture. For designated learning institutions, students transferring to this institutions must now apply for a new study permit, replacing the previous online notification system. For temporary resident programs, IRCC has now reduced the issuance of new permits to lower the temporary resident population. And there are also now stricter checks to ensure labor market integrity. Spousal work permits are also now restricted to spouses of students in master's programs longer than 16 months. And eligibility is also restricted to cases where the primary applicant works in management or in labor shortage occupations. For IMP, International Mobility Program, changes prioritize skilled workers in high demand sectors like healthcare, STEM, and education. So what remains open for pathways to permanent residency are the following, but in reduced numbers. So for 2025 to 2027, admissions are lowered to 325,000 this year and 365,000 for next year. Provincial Nominee Program also has been reduced to 55,000 annually. For express entry system updates, there have been removals of job offer points as well. For Quebec's immigration moratorium in November 2024, Quebec announced a moratorium on two popular permanent residency programs until June 30 this year. This is to manage their capacity to integrate newcomers, potentially impacting 70,000 immigrants. So this affects the self-employed individual programs, the private refugee sponsorship pause, and there's also the end to flag polling. Flag polling is the process of obtaining or extending permits at the Canada-US border, which ended in 2024. All applications will now be processed online. So what has driven these changes are infrastructure and housing challenges, labor market demands in key sectors, and to ensure that the program, the integrity of the program. So key impacts for all the applicants. There are now stricter quotas for international students, and there are revised work permit rules to limit opportunities. There's also temporary residents. There's enhanced eligibility criteria for permits and renewals, which will require careful planning. For express entry applicants, changes to the job offer points may affect rankings in the comprehensive ranking system or CRS. And for spouses of students and workers, there's now narrower eligibility for open work permits. So in conclusion, Canada's immigration policies have shifted to towards a more controlled and region-specific system to balance infrastructure capacities with labor market demands. Applicants must remain informed and adapt to these changes to successfully navigate this evolving landscape.